Hello, people of the internet. I am Eddie134, and today I bring you a video showing off my collection of Buzz Lightyear figures. Now, I've been collecting Toy Story merch for as far back as I can remember, but I didn't really get seriously into it until 2017. I got my first sealed signature collection Buzz, and it just went on from there. I kept a log of things that I had, and I always felt this need to make videos on the things that I was getting for the collection, but the time never really felt right, so I just settled with sharing images of the things that I was getting instead. And it went on that way for a while until August of 2023 last year, when an electrical fire broke out in my room and, well, it destroyed everything. It messed me up a little bit, I won't lie, but I feel much better about the whole thing, so don't worry about that. Still, this was the event that made me realize that if I was going to make videos, I should probably do it sooner rather than later. So here we are, a year later as of August 10th. Back on my feet and ready to share what I've found since then. The figures that I've gotten are, funnily enough, mostly different than the ones that I used to have in my original collection, which just comes to show how many different unique Buzz figures there are out there. Right here I have 22 loose different Buzz Lightyear figures. I know there's actually 23, but 2 of those are the same one, so I'm not counting them, but I do have them just to show off as well. And I also have 8 complete in box figures that are both opened and sealed, so we're just gonna hop right into it. Alright, I've gone ahead and put all the Buzz Lightyear figures back on the shelves. I thought it'd just be easier to display them and show them off on video this way so I don't have to crouch down. But yeah, I have them set up on the different companies that they were released in. So you got Thinkway, Hasbro, Disney Store, older Thinkway, Mattel, and then just some miscellaneous ones right here that I couldn't fit in their respective cubby holes. So let's start off right here. This is the second figure I got in the collection. It's the Cloud logo Buzz Lightyear. It was sold to me with the certificate and the manual still. Working as you would expect, still moves its head, thankfully. Over here we have the utility belt Buzz. I don't know what variant it is because I bought the legs as part of a non-working Buzz Lightyear, and I ended up replacing the top torso with a different one to get a completely displayable figure. I also had to go ahead and fix the joint inside the waist because it was completely destroyed. That was a pain in the behind to do. I would not recommend doing that. But it's mostly for show, so it's very much don't touch. Right here we have my signature collection Buzz Lightyear, but this is the Latin American version. So if you touch one of his buttons, he speaks Latin American Spanish. Yep, Latin American Spanish. Over here, this is not a signature collection or anything. This is just a regular Buzz Lightyear, but this is the Spanish-speaking one from Thinkway. I almost didn't buy this one. I saw it at a flea market one day, and I thought it was just like a regular $20 Buzz figure from Thinkway. And I asked to take a look at it just because it was complete, and I thought it would be good for a custom I was planning on doing. But I went and touched one of his buttons, and look, so if you press this one...
I'm picking up Zerg on my scanner! Look out! This is an intergalactic emergency!
He speaks English. But then you press the green one...
Protejo a la galaxia de la amenaza de invasión. El miedo no está en mi vocabulario.
I mean, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know they made this one, so I took him home, and here he is. Down here we have my Hasbro versions of the Buzz Lightyear figures. This is actually the first figure I bought for the collection ever. The new one, that is. This is the Deluxe Electronic Buzz Lightyear, but it's the Latin American version as well, so let's take a look right here. Yeah, the contacts on this guy is the contacts on the buttons are a little bit dirty, I think, so I would have to go in there and clean them up. But he does have his wings still, both of them. I'm not gonna pop them out. They definitely work, but if I click it, the back plate might go flying because it's a little loose. I haven't gone ahead and fixed that yet. This is the Battle Buzz Lightyear. It still has 5 out of the 6 darts, which is incredible. It also still has both of his wings working as well. This is the laser blasting Buzz Lightyear from the value pack that came with the attack pack and the little green alien. I mostly bought this guy because of the gun. In my original collection, I had pretty much every single Buzz Lightyear figure from the Hasbro line that you could get that wasn't a prototype. And the only one I was missing was this one, which is why I bought this one first for the new collection. But in my original collection, mine didn't have the gun, so I'm pretty excited to have that in the new collection as well. So it's a lot more complete, if you could say that. This right here is my Galactic Defender. This is the first figure I ever owned, ever. I mean, not this one specifically. Obviously, the original one burnt in the fire, but this is the replacement. I got it off Goodwill.com. Bought it at auction. It doesn't have the targeting visor or the back panel for the batteries. But if you put them in and you put the attack pack on it, they don't really fall off, so it's still good. The lights on the laser work, it still talks. Pretty nice to have back in the collection. Moving over on here to the Thinkway ones. First off, we have the Interstellar Buzz Lightyear purple variant. Also working. Let's take a look.
Buzz Lightyear to the rescue!
I guess. Nope, he doesn't want to.
I am Buzz Lightyear, Space Ranger, Universe Protection Unit.
Okay, let's just say that the light turned on. Yeah, I got this one. For some reason, I'm pretty sure that whoever owned this before me broke the Buzz Lightyear from the waist, and they glued it back together because there's like some weird sediment inside of plastic. I already tried cleaning it from the outside, and this does not come off. And I can't turn it at the waist. So I'm pretty sure it's been glued together. I don't want to open it and fix it because my main issue with the Thinkway Buzz Lightyear figures, the original ones, is that they're a pain in the behind to fix. I mean, you can easily open them up and like do your thing, but once you have to close them back up, it's so hard. At least I have trouble with it. I recently, well, for the ones that I have closed, I had to fix some wiring that was messed up. And when I had to close that thing up, I chewed on some wires on accident. I pulled something I soldered. It was a mess. This guy in the middle right here is the Disney Store Buzz Lightyear, but with the pale face and the really thick glow-in-the-dark paint. When I saw this at the flea market, I originally thought it was a 95 Buzz that someone painted over, and that his face was kind of old and gross for some reason, because, I mean, that's not normal. You take a look at both of the faces, and you just know something's wrong. But this is the way it's sold. I saw some pictures of it in box. I had to ask around, and that's the way it's supposed to look. As far as I'm aware, there's no lights inside that light up the figure, so I have no idea why the face is so pale, but he does still work.
I am Buzz Lightyear.
And he does have his wings. This is like one of the more peculiar Buzz figures in the collection. I just don't get it. It's interesting, but I don't get it. Anyways, this guy right here is the rarest, I think, Buzz figure in the collection. This is the Ultra Wake Up System Buzz Lightyear from Thinkway. I got this guy on Facebook Marketplace, and it's complete, incredibly, with his little control and working. The light in here works, which is awesome. I was kind of worried that wasn't going to work. I don't have batteries in him right now because of the way the system, the little battery pack system is right here. It puts pressure on the battery plate. So if I leave those in there, I fear it might break the plastic over time, because this is like creaky plastic too. And it also takes like 6 batteries, so that's a lot of batteries. But yeah, surprisingly, these wings aren't connected to this button. They're kind of like pull and push wings. I also almost dropped this when I was testing it, because once you start pressing buttons on this guy, he starts moving. And if you put him on the table, he's going to fall off. So I don't recommend putting him on the table when you start messing with him. But anyways, moving on over here, we have my Mattel Buzz Lightyear figures. This guy in the middle is the Turbo Glow Buzz Lightyear figure. But this is the Latin American version. As far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware, these Mattel figures were only released in the UK, so I'm not entirely sure why there's a Latin American Buzz figure of this Mattel release. So I'm gonna play it really quick so you can listen to what he has to say. There you go. Yeah, he speaks Latin American Spanish, like really weird. But anyways, the two guys on either side of him are the same Buzz Lightyear figure. This is it's called the Total Control Buzz Lightyear figure. That's right. These are the Total Control Buzz Lightyear figure from Mattel. The reason I have 2 of these is because the seller had them in a lot with several other Buzz Lightyears, but the other ones that they had were like Disney Store stuff, ones that I already had. So I messaged them and asked if I could get both of these, because they were both really yellowed. But I thought I could either bleach them or part swap them to get one that was complete, and then just have the parts for it later. I went ahead and opened them, and you cannot part swap this thing. It's a mess. I didn't even bother. So what I did was I started whitening the pieces. I'll put some pictures of what these originally look like before and what they look like right now. This guy still does need another pass of the whitening cream, because you can see the yellow is still there. But it's a lot better than it was before, and they both still work. It's not an invasive process at all, so I don't know, I just kind of have 2 of them now, so I don't know what I'm going to do with 2. But anyways, down here we have the other Mattel figures. This is the Techno Gear Buzz Lightyear. This one I also got in the same lot as I got the other 2. Yeah, I don't know. This one and the Rocket Blast Buzz Lightyear. These 2 they have to be like my least favorite out of all of them. I mostly got this guy because it's like one of those figures that you just gotta have in the collection. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to look like what the Ultra Buzz 2000 from the original run of Toy Story 2 was supposed to look like. Don't quote me on that though. It's just kind of I'm trying to remember from the top of my head, but I think he's supposed to look like that. So I just kind of bought him. It was one that I was still missing. So, I don't know, I can't really say much about him. It's not one I enjoy. He works, I guess. Anyways, this guy, out of all the figures I have in my collection, is one of the ones that doesn't work. The only thing wrong with him is that the button that you use to activate all the noises and lights and sounds is broken. I would have to go in there and resolder a new one that still works. But, I mean, I would have to do exactly that, and I really just don't feel like it. For a Buzz figure, that's not one that I would like to do. I mainly bought him because of the face, I'll be honest. It's got open eyes. I thought it was cool. I'm just not going to bother fixing him, I guess. This guy right here is the JCPenney Spanish-speaking Buzz Lightyear with a Spanish face. He's got some batteries in him right now, but they're dead. I have to change them before they start to ruin the components. But he does work. His lights on his wings work as well, and everything. Down here I have a 1995 Buzz Lightyear mold figure. So I'm calling it that because I don't exactly know if it's a 95 Buzz, because it has a purple battery pack, and I think the first edition figures came with a white battery pack instead of purple, and there have been re-releases for Toy Story 2 and like I think up to 2005. So I don't want to say it's the 95 Buzz, but it's a 95 Buzz mold figure. I don't think I have batteries in them right now, because I was fixing them because the wings are broken. But yeah, this is my Stars and Stripes Buzz Lightyear, also working. Batteries are currently dying. I have to change that. In my original collection, I actually had the version that had the smaller head. So it had this head in red, which I'm told is a little rarer, but obviously I don't have that anymore, so we have to settle with this. And it's not a bad figure at all. I actually quite like this figure. It's got, it's like one of the few figures that plays music as one of its voice lines. I'm trying to remember. There's another one in the collection right here that also plays music, but I can't remember which one it is at the moment. But yeah, I like that a lot. It plays the Buzz Lightyear theme from the opening of Toy Story 2. Back here we have You Command. What is it called? It's You Command Buzz Lightyear. This guy is also working, so I'm at a flea market. Thought it was cool. Not much else to say about that. And finally, we have my Disney Store Buzz Lightyear figures. This guy is the one from the double pack with Woody. You can tell it's him because of the green paint. It's a lot like it's like a pearlized dark green, and the hands are also painted. Unlike the guy back here, this is just like the regular Buzz Lightyear figure that uses the remote controlled mold, which is also the same mold this guy uses, which I thought it was pretty weird because this guy's the same figure from like the twin pack but in blue, but he has a regular button, so I don't know. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the Buzz Lightyear figures that are in the collection that are loose. Next we'll move on to the boxed versions. And here are my Buzz figures for the in-box collection. Some of these are open in box and others are completely sealed. And there has been a bit of a time jump since the last portion of the video I filmed. I started back in August and we are now in November. However, I haven't gotten anything new since then for the in-box collection, that is. So we're just going to keep going. And starting off with the top left, I have the special edition Buzz Lightyear figure from the Disney Store. I got this one off Mercari for a pretty good price, I would say, considering how much these go for usually when they show up online. I think I must have paid around $90 before like they started doing the crazy fees on Mercari. So it was pretty good. The only thing wrong with this, or the only flaw that is the plastic is a little bit cracked on the top right. But other than that, the figure is really good. The batteries are still good. Maybe in the future, once they die out, I might open it to get rid of them so that the figure doesn't get corroded inside, but we'll see. To the right of that, I have the Flight Control Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story 2. I got this one off Goodwill for something around $25. The figure is basically brand new, but I think what happened was the tape basically deteriorated. It was basically a bunch of like dust inside of the box. I mean, it's a pretty old figure, so I understand. But everything inside of it is still there, so it's basically complete. I just took it out temporarily. You can just slide it out, basically. I cleaned out everything. I put everything back inside the box, and I just left them standing there. Normally when these are new and better conditions, the figures are kind of propped up in midair inside the box as if they were flying. So I just kind of put him standing there because I think it's just better to have a more complete display. And then to the right of this one is a bit of a peculiar figure. It's the Toymark Buzz Lightyear with the glow-in-the-dark paint. If you don't know what Toymark is, it's a Mexican company that just makes toys to sell them bulk in Mexico using various properties. So things like Disney, Jurassic Park. I think they also have some Barbie things, and Marvel, etc., etc. These actually came out during the Toy Story 4 era. The one I have here is the Toy Story 4, the Toy Story logo variant. There's also one with the Toy Story 4 and a Forky to the right of it. But yeah, these are kind of difficult to get your hands on in the US. I don't think I've seen one pop up online for sale ever. I actually had to get this one through some irregular means, but it's here. It's a very nice figure. It's surprisingly well made. There's if you want to read more about Toymark and the Buzz Lightyear and Woody's that they made, you can go to the Toy Story merchandise wiki and read up on the article. But basically, this guy is he's like a mashup between the Thinkway and Disney Store Buzz. So he has a lot of neat things going on. I do think he's a little bit smaller, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, it is what it is. So, I might open this one. I'm not entirely convinced because of how difficult it was to get, but maybe in the future we'll make a review on it. Who knows? Moving back to the bottom left, I have my Buzz Lightyear Star Command Disney Parks figure from the Thinkway line. This was a figure you could get back in the day in Disney. I'm assuming all the Disney parks, like Disneyland, Disney World. There's a few variants. There's one that talks, like you press a button and his mouth opens, and then there's like other variants that look like this one, but the only difference is the box. And the one I ended up getting was this one, mainly because of the design they use. So I basically grew up with this design. I had a bunch of decals in my room using that same Buzz drawing and stuff like that. It was like the Buzz design back in the day. So to see something like that on a box was mind-blowing to me. I just had to get it. This figure is really neat. I think it has the regular voice lines from the 95 Buzz, but this guy glows in the dark. The laser works. No battery corrosion. I think there's a little bit of a scratch with my figure on the visor from when it was rubbing against the plastic, but this one's obviously open. It's a bit old, so I got it used for a decent price on eBay. I must have paid like $65 for it, maybe, after tax. Last time I checked, these kind of have been going up a little bit, but not too bad. You can still find one of these after shipping and fees for maybe around $90, $100. I don't think it's a very coveted figure. I think what most people would want this figure for is the box design, but yeah. To the right of that, I have my Intergalactic Buzz Lightyear. So this is the chrome, one of the many chrome Buzz Lightyear figures they released. Unfortunately, mine has a bit of a mix-up in the discs that it came with. Obviously, this is used; it's opened. It seems like whoever had it before me also owned the Thinkway Buzz Lightyear spaceship that also came with these darts, and must have mixed the darts that came with the Buzz with the spaceship. So instead of having 2 reds and 1 blue, I have 2 blues and 1 red. But other than that, the figure it's in okay condition. It's definitely better than the one I used to have in my original collection. because that one, the box was just torn up. The insides were super corroded. At least with this one, the only thing wrong with it is that the wrist communicator doesn't do anything. I've already gone in there and opened up everything. I had to clean up the contacts. Whoever owned it before me actually ripped the wires connecting it to the battery pack, so I had to do all of that nonsense. And then once I closed it back up, I accidentally chewed on the wires, and I had to fix that. It was a big mess. This is actually the figure I was talking about, where I absolutely despise working on the Thinkway figures from the olden days. And also the chrome from the backside from all the rubbing against the styrofoam has basically peeled, so you can see the bottom plastic, but it's not too noticeable because it's on the side, and plus I'm gonna have it displayed on the in the box, so it doesn't really matter to me. To the right of that, I have the Buzz Lightyear Universe Protection Unit, the Infinity Edition. So this is basically like the intergalactic one, where it has the little jetpack from the back with the discs, and this one actually comes with the certificate. I got this one on Mercari as well before the fees went crazy. I got it for a decent price because of the exterior damage there is on the box, which I don't really mind personally. As long as the figure inside is in decent condition and working, I'll look beyond that, you know? But yeah, I think this one also has the same problem as the Disney Parks Buzz Lightyear, where the visor also rubbed against the plastic and left like a little scratch. Surely there's a way to buff that out somehow. Obviously this one is also used, but you know, it's all good. To the right of that one, and my last in-box figure, is the Power-Up Buzz from Thinkway. He's a little bit sun damaged, he's a little yellowed, but there's ways of fixing that. I've dabbled in that, obviously, with the flight control, or not flight control, the other ones from Mattel that they released later on. I forget the name of it. So the yellowing doesn't really bother me too much. I can always go in and clean it up to make it look nicer, but since it's for me and I'm not really planning on selling these figures anytime soon, I'm not really gonna mess with it. Just to not make a mess, because it's obviously definitely a lot harder to work on the figure if it's in the box. The upside with this is that it doesn't have a plastic window, so you can just directly access the figure with no problem. The batteries are not working, so I don't know if they're corroded or not. I'm hoping they're not, but yeah, I got this one off Facebook Marketplace locally. Someone was selling it. I'm trying to remember how much I must have paid for it. It wasn't a lot. I think it was something around $45. So I don't know, pretty decent find. I wasn't really expecting to get this. It's definitely not my favorite Thinkway figure. Maybe another one in box would have been nice to have. I don't want to sound ungrateful, but you know, it's kind of interesting because I obviously didn't know this box existed. I eventually had to Google different box releases for this specific Buzz Lightyear. So I want to say this is one of the more uncommon ones, and the fact that it's still sealed is amazing. It's incredible. I don't believe it. So yeah, those are my in-box figures for the collection. Well, I hope you enjoyed my 1-year update on the Buzz Lightyear collection. Fingers crossed, come next year, August, there's a 2-year update on the collection, but we'll see what happens. Since starting the filming of this, I've expanded my collection into other characters, so maybe there's a few videos on that. I do plan on making other videos, such as customs, and maybe there's a review in the pipeline, who knows? But anyways, thanks for watching. Bye!